Greetings everyone, Eric Brown, MOBO-Media, MOBO-Media. Hey, coming at you again. Got the Texas Hill Country in the backdrop. And I thought I'd just get on here and just talk about a quick subject I think everybody will find interesting. And that is the fact that you are unique. And I'm talking to you in the camera. You are unique. There's no one like you. And what I want you to do is now go live an amazing life on your own terms. Because it is your life. You don't share your life with someone. I'm not talking about marriage. I'm talking about the breath that you take in your body and the beats in your heart. Everybody's unique. Everybody's unique, man. I think about this all the time, and I think this has carried me throughout my life and career, to be honest with you. The fact that I had to accept the fact that I was different. I wasn't like, the person on the left or person on the right. Everybody's different, different personalities, and so they come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different ways of thinking. You name it, man. We're different. We're different. The funny story I always think about is sperm cell. Sperm cell. You hear people talk about the thousands of millions or whatever, how many sperm cells actually try to make it during the process of birth. And throughout all those sperm cells, only one makes it. One. And I think when you really start to really think about that, you really begin to understand the uniqueness of you, that you made it. Now, don't get me wrong, and I hate to go there with this, but some of us didn't need to make it. Some of you should have got off at an exit. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to be mean or anything like that, but in all seriousness though, we're all unique, man. And I just want everybody to understand that embrace your uniqueness. Embrace your uniqueness. Embrace who you are. Share yourself with the world, man. That's what I'm doing right now with this YouTube channel, MOBO-Media. I know I'm unique. I know I've got unique experiences and unique perspectives, unique opinions. I want to talk about unique subjects. And so really that's what this is all about for me. Just sharing my uniqueness with the world. A little bit about me, just to kind of give you some of the things, some examples of my uniqueness. I was like the first, I think, member of my family, I think, graduate college, I think I'm the first one to graduate college. I'm the first one to retire from the military. I'm probably the first to serve as long as I did. I served 22 years. I'm unique in the fact that I made my way up through the ranks of state government pretty quick. When I retired from the military, I just had a knack and a drive, man, to succeed, and so I did that. So in a matter of years, man, just a couple of years, I went from retiring out of the military to a state director of a major veterans program. And that makes me unique. A lot of folks don't know that. I'm from Fort Worth. A lot of people have no idea of the things that I've done behind the scenes or at state government level or even with the federal government. But I have done things to make a difference in people's lives, and I'll always do that. And that's another thing that makes me unique. I'm a people person. I love people. I love people so much so that at an early age, I began to study the discipline of psychology and social work and psychiatry. My love of people drew me to kind of dig a little deeper into the uniqueness of people and the mindsets of people and what makes them tick. Oftentimes, for me personally, when I see a person, I don't just see the person for face value. That's everybody can put on the mask, can wear the mask. I tend to kind of look at the person and really feel the person to get an idea of who's behind the mask, because you can be fooled very easily with that mask, man. With the mask, I'm talking about people who, they don't embrace their uniqueness. They don't embrace who they are. They'd rather be someone else and all this other craziness, but there's nothing wrong with being you. You matter. You can have a tremendous impact on the world. You can have a tremendous impact on, the people around you, man. It's just, but it's got to first start with you embracing your uniqueness, embracing the fact that everybody's built different, everybody thinks different. And I'll be honest with y'all. That's one of the reasons why I debated before getting into the social media world. It was because of the fact that you got a lot of unique personalities out there, and some of them are, for lack of a better word, trash personalities. I can't tell you some of the comments I get. I don't get a lot of crazy comments, but even the few that I get, man, I'm just like, who on earth sits there and types this stuff out? You know what I'm saying? Now that person is unique. That's a trash person unique in a different type of way. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I kind of debated before getting into the social media space. But it's a space where I think I need to be because, if, my whole life I did things like learn to public speak and, had cameras in my face doing commercials or doing television ads. And so I've done a lot of that for the military and for the state of Texas. So I know how to, get in front of a camera and talk. And so social media is a great place for me to really to get on and try to make a difference in lives, man. That's what it's all about for me. I can get on here and yammer all day long, but if it doesn't benefit anyone, then it's just what we in the psychology world, perception psychology, we call it noise. Everything that doesn't matter is noise. And so what I don't try to bring to the channel is noise, you know what I'm saying? Now, everything I talk about in the channel is not for everybody. Everybody has their own opinions about things, and some people may think they're not unique, and that's okay. But for me, what I really try to impart on people is that, again, to go back to the whole sperm cell thing, you made it. Out of all those sperm cells, man, they were trying to make their way to eventual birth, man. Only one made it, and it was you. Embrace that. Embrace it, and grab the world by the reins, man, and just ride it, man. Ride this world. You only have one life to live. Your life is unique because no one else will ever live your life the way you lived it. Your experiences, your thoughts, your perceptions, your love of people. Everybody's unique. Now, once you come to the realization that you're unique, then it's time to get out into the world really to show them that you're unique. And this is where it kind of gets a little tricky for some folks. Some folks have an issue with how can I put it? They have an issue with pointing the camera at themselves and be forward facing the public, things like that. And I get it. It's not for everybody. Hell, I had to go through things like Toastmasters International, which is a public speaking organization. Volunteer for speaking engagements, you name it, man. I done it. And so I've always tried to master the art of speaking, but also master the art of mastering the audience in the room, if that makes sense. Speaking is one thing, but when you can control an audience, man, it's an amazing feeling, particularly when you control them in a way to where you're vibing with the audience on one accord. You're sharing your positive vibes and they're picking up on them, man. And then at the end of the speech, they're all coming up to you and they're loving what you had to say. And so, and I'll talk about some of that stuff in some of the other videos, some of the speeches I've done. I've done some pretty major speeches and been involved with some pretty major events. And that's just some of the things that make me unique, and I definitely want to share a lot of that. And I won't be sharing it in a way to where it comes across as arrogant or who does God think he is. I think that what I have to tell folks will benefit folks. I've been around the world. I've visited over 75 countries. I lived in 3 countries. Currently here in Austin, Texas. So I've got a lot under my belt. Got a solid resume. That would surprise folks that if you saw my resume, it would probably surprise you. I'm not even speaking, like my tooting the horn or anything like that. But there's something unique about my resume. It's deep. It's deep and layered. And so I also have receipts. Anything I talk about, I got receipts for them. Whether it be my involvement with the U.S. president, being selected to help transport U.S. delegates during Bill Clinton's time in office, to being in the streets of Somalia, man, and being shot at and seeing some of the craziest things you ever think of, man. But I've done it. So, and my military experience makes me unique, I think 1% of the population of the U.S. is military. It may be less than 1%, but 1% of the U.S. population is less than 1% is military. That makes me unique. That makes me in a special class of patriots called veterans. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud to be a veteran, and that makes me unique. And so I always try to promote that uniqueness and let people. I try to educate people on what a veteran is and what a veteran is not, because there's a lot of stigma out there, negative stigma and negative thoughts on veterans, particularly when you start talking about things like PTSD and you see some of the odd things that veterans do out in society, whether it's, I mean, I've heard of veterans, dealing with PTSD and things like that. They'll go do like suicide by cop, and literally they don't want to end their lives, so they actually set up where someone ends their life. But those things are also unique to veterans because of the experiences we've had in the military, and how those experiences impacted who we are today. And good, bad, and different. Military service, I think, was a great thing. I think it's a great thing for any young person. It's just that right now, military service is a bit tricky right now because I'm not even sure what the agenda is. And I'm not even just saying that from my own perspective. I'm listening to all these really hardcore military leaders saying there's really not a lot of direction in the military right now. Not that we're not the best military in the world. There's just, when I say lack of direction, I'm talking about confusion on policy and things like that. And so they're still trying to work all that out, particularly as they purge DEI and some of the other things they're doing. Really trying to strip away history of, for me, Air Force, history of aviation, aviators, man, that did some amazing things. And you can wipe away the skin color and it still be amazing things. That's what's crazy about it. You talk about the history of just black serving in the military, and for them to want to wipe all that away, I think it's sad because, I tell anybody any day, we had to fight 2 wars. We had to fight a war abroad and coming back home. But we've made some strides. We made strides, but we certainly have work to do. Be unique. Be proud of your uniqueness. Don't ever let anybody make you feel anything other than comfortable with yourself. If someone makes you feel other than comfortable with yourself, get away from that person. That's not who you need to be around. You need to be around someone that's lifting you up. That's really promoting your uniqueness and highlighting your uniqueness and respecting you because of your uniqueness. And so we're all different, man. We're all different. Another unique thing I'll put out there that I typically don't talk about, a lot of people don't know about me, but I studied Tibetan Buddhism for 10 years. 10 years, Tibetan Buddhism. So I'm very familiar with the 14th Dalai Lama. I'm very familiar with Tibet and what happened in China. If you don't know about the history of Tibet, it's a small country next to China. They're not Chinese, but they're very deeply, deeply, richly cultural. And their whole mantra is compassion, man. That's the whole thing that drives them is compassion. So I was drawn to these people early on when I went to Asia. And that makes me unique because you don't find a lot of black guys that walk around with a Free Tibet t-shirt or even know what Tibet is or support Tibet. But I support them and the way that they try to promote compassion, not only within their culture, but around the world. Dalai Lama's done a great job of spreading compassion around the world. And so he's getting up there in age, and so at some point they're going to have to nominate another Dalai Lama. So yeah, that makes me unique. Tibet, black guy. Who would have ever figured, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not afraid to venture out and learn new things, man. I've learned about just about all the religions, the ones that are, front and center pretty much, I've read, everything from the Bible to Quran to, just, written, I guess, text about ideals. I'm kind of hesitating on it because I don't necessarily call some of those religions. They're just ways of thinking. You got some organizations out here, man. People confuse them with churches and religion. They're not. It's just a way of thinking, and that makes them unique. So I can't knock that, right? Yeah. So with that, this is Eric Brown. I'm not going to hold y'all much longer. I just want to just hop on here and really, really talk about the uniqueness in us, the uniqueness in you. Out of all the sperm cells, you made it. And every day you need to ask yourself why. And if you can't come up with a reason why, then be your best self, and I guarantee you that it will answer itself. It'll answer itself. Hey, with that, this is Eric Brown, MOBO-Media. You are unique. There's no one like you. Now go live an amazing life on your own terms. Y'all take care and subscribe. Bye-bye.